Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Faith, Lies, and Confusion. I am Godless Reggie. This is NJ. How are you, NJ? You're muted.
Hey, Reggie! I'm doing fabulous as always. It's Sunday morning. Oh, I'm sorry, afternoon. It's properly Sunday afternoon where I am.
Right. Same here. I'm on the East Coast as well. So, whoever's on the West Coast and other places, good morning to y'all. But everybody else, good afternoon, good evening. It's been a few weeks. We took almost a month off. I had a few things going on. Had my class reunion. NJ had vacation.
And now I'm
And
on
now we're here.
vacation from my vacation. Yes!
And I'm on vacation from the headache of that class reunion. I'm so glad that we had it.
Woo!
I'm so happy to see everybody. But it was a very stressful situation. It was hard planning all that. A lot of money was
Did you make
invested
any
into
of
it.
the
I'm
after
still
parties?
trying to.
I'm being nosy and messy. Did you make any of the after parties?
So, no, I actually didn't go to any after party. But what I did do is I went to the neighborhood bar from the side of town I'm from. A lot of people they go to this bar. I live on the north side of town, so I went there. It was very packed. It was a lot of people from the reunion in my town. There was other class reunions as well. A lot of people were there. It was a good time. I don't normally go out. I don't go to bars because I don't drink and shit. But it had probably been about 2 or 3 years since I've actually been out. So I enjoyed myself. It's not a habit. It's not nothing I'm going to keep going back to doing. But every once in a while, it was okay. Nobody fought. Nobody argued. It was a great time. I mean, beforehand we argued, but once we all got there, it was cool. How was your vacation?
Fabulous. Unbelievably fabulous. Except the water was cold. But it's supposed to be cold. It's supposed to be. But when you get used to warm waters in the Gulf and then you go home to the cold, cold water of the Atlantic, it does remind you. It does remind you of temperature change. It does. It does.
I bet. You know what I seen was a little bit off topic. I don't know if it's true, but I seen something on TikTok yesterday. I seen a guy in the Bronx. Even though I know you're not from New York City, but I seen a guy in the Bronx at the beach, and the water was crystal clear blue. I don't fucking believe that. I don't believe that. It was up under a
Crystal
bridge too.
clear blue in the
The
Bronx
shit looked like the in the Bronx. The
under a
shit looked
bridge.
like the Caribbean. Swear. I swear. I swear. It couldn't have been real. Now I'm not testifying
That
to it
had to
being
be
real.
AI enhanced, something filtered. Impossible. Nope.
That's what I'm saying. I don't believe it because isn't the Bronx right by the Harlem River?
Whoo! And we know they dumping that river as much as possible.
You know, yeah. And how can the river ain't blue? Ain't no goddamn river blue. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I understand that they're doing major efforts to clean
But you
up.
can't make it up. You can't give them the utopia of this is what it can look like. No, make it look like that. Then take the picture.
No. It wasn't a picture. It wasn't a picture. He was in the water. He was like, look at that bridge right there. He putting his head in the water and he was blue. It was, I mean, it
On
was clear. He was like this. I don't believe that he was where he said he was at. That's the part I don't believe.
Oh, well, yeah. He either wasn't there or, but you would still have to enhance it because the bridge would be identifiable by the build of it. There is no two bridges alike. So that would be identifiable as either the Bronx Bridge or a different bridge. But either way, he swapped
Yeah.
it out or whatever. It's still enhancement of the video. Like I found a video right before I left showing the Potomac had turned red, like blood red. Had to paddle in the water and everything. Hand in the water, everything. Why you would want to put your hand in the water as it's red, I don't know. But anyway, this kayaker put their hand in the water and everything, and then gave a not the video, but a picture of the um the uh the sewage entry and filter system with a line between it showing that only this side was red, the Potomac that he was in, and that the water going throughout the sewage system or drainage system was not red. It was like a fine line right there, and I'm just like, that's impossible. I've been there. I've seen that spot. I know that is impossible. I don't care how you enhanced it, but I know that's impossible.
Yeah, I've heard more stories throughout my life about the waterways around New York City than I can remember. And that one was the only remotely positive one I've ever heard of. I've heard if you jump in the river, I've heard if you jump in the ocean in any part of it, basically you're going to die. That's what I've heard. I've always heard that. Um, and it's
That
not
because
so much of the drowning situation, it was more of it being polluted. I don't know if it's true. I've seen the water with my own eyes, not the Bronx beach or whatever the fuck that was. Obviously, I haven't seen that, but I've seen a lot of the waterways there, and I wouldn't swim in that shit. I wouldn't fish in that shit. I would probably piss in it, but that's as far as that's gonna go.
do you know why the Jersey Shore
I
series was
mean,
so popular?
I know New York
Because
has had a tradition. Oh, go ahead. Sorry about that.
no. Did New York has a tradition of what? Am I lagging?
It's probably because of me. Because I see some of the bars on my internet is not that high. So
Wow. Okay. But you've seen what?
say that again.
But you've seen what in the water? What have you
Oh,
seen
just
in?
more about the waterways and things like that. Like the water. Like recently, besides that, I've heard about sharks getting closer. I've heard it's very polluted. I heard if you try to swim from like Rikers Island or something like that, that again it's so polluted that you'll die. Um, what I seen with my own eyes, like crossing different bridges and shit, going there. 'Cause I've been to Manhattan. I've been to the Bronx. I've been where else I've been? I've been to Manhattan. I've been to the Bronx. I've been to downtown Brooklyn. So I've been over a couple different bridges there, right? And all the water looks dirty. I know that New York City has a long-standing history of industry, so there's no fucking way that that water can be clean. No way.
And still to
New
this
Jersey,
day, they dump their medical waste, and the current takes it to the Jersey Shore. And that's why they spend so much cleaning them beaches every day, and why so many people want to claim the beach as their own so it can't be for public use, so they can sue the companies that are dumping. It's a long story. They've been at it for years. I don't think they're ever going to clear it up, to be honest with you. I think they just keep legislating it for the money, to be honest.
they can't. On top of the fact that me being from the Great Lakes region, and New York is a part of the Great Lakes region as well, there's no way that I would swim or eat anything out of the Great Lakes. Growing up in my two states that I'm from, Ohio and Pennsylvania, they used to have job applications here and other things where you fill out, and it would specifically ask you, "Have you ever eaten anything out of the Great Lakes. It tells you. So there's no way that you're gonna catch me in there. On top of the fact that I know that there's sharks in there too. I know it is because I've seen them with my own two fucking eyes. So I mean, not in person, but I have seen the video footage of them around like Coney Island, in like Brooklyn and Queens, and that part of the water and shit. And there's fucking sharks in there. So,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway,
Mm-hmm.
let's get back to the original topic. So today's topic is Jediism. It really started off as a joke um, with me and NJ talking, and something just even though I really didn't pay it any attention and like look into it, but I was trying to think of a topic for today's show, and I said, well, let me just Google religions, right? Lesser known religions, and then I just seen a list of them. Some of them I actually have made streams about. Like the first one I seen was Zoroastrianism. Then I seen the Druze. I seen a lot of them that I've already done, and then I seen one that just said Jediism. I'm like, it just can't be real. So I click on it. It's a whole dialogue of Star Wars belief, right? So I started immediately thinking with my atheist mind, right? Because at first I was thinking with my former colonized Christian mind. I'm like, this is the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard in my life. And then I thought about it, like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not even in the top fucking five. It's not even in the top 10. Any Abrahamic scriptures, listen, fuck, just take Abrahamic religion out. I'm gonna keep Abraham out my mouth today, right? If I look at any other religion that I am aware of on planet Earth, there's things that are way more far fetched than that. MJ, how you feel?
Whew. I love the whole Jediism theme park of imagination. I love it. I Baby Yoda is my friend. What is you talking about? That is my buddy for life. I can't wait for grandson to become a Baby Yoda fan. You know what? Let me stop marketing for them people. They don't need me to market for them.
You sure don't, and they damn sure ain't gonna pay your ass nothing either. I tell people, even though this is a little bit
They
off the
sure
topic,
ain't.
whenever I see people get into serious, interesting, dramatic situations, exposing everybody. Oh, well, you slept with a crackhead, and you know how it can go. And you didn't. I just be sitting there like looking at them, and sometimes I even tell them, I'm like, do you know that you are entertaining the fuck out of me for free, and that if you really took the proper angles at this shit and really looked into what you're doing, you could be getting paid for this shit. I said, you're embarrassing yourself for free. You know?
For free. For free.
But again, for free.
I only get
So
bothered when they
I
wanna
get it.
when they wanna drag other names into their nonsense. Like I ain't making no sense, so let me keep repeating somebody else's names in hopes that everybody will be confused on who's the one looking stupid right now. But that's another subject for
I
another day.
I just be wanting them to get their money, and I be telling them like, look, I'm really tapping into you right now. I'm really watching this shit. This shit is funny as fuck to me. So if it's funny as fuck to me, what that tell you? Somebody likes your content, bitch. So you need to put this on TikTok. You need to tag the person you're talking about in it, and y'all need to go live and have this debate instead of telling me this bullshit. All right, get your coins because I ain't gonna do nothing but stitch your fucking content and fucking show it anyway. So you might as well get it before I do, and because you're gonna get pissed for me exposing you when you're exposing yourself. But that's another story. Let's get back on topic because
Right. I mean,
we
because
can
if
go
we're
into
gonna get
something
on
completely else.
marketing, like how do I market somebody's diamond necklaces? Because I'm like, why would you ask me how I can help you advertise? Your diamond necklaces. They are diamond necklaces. You either gonna put them on me and take a picture, or what else you want me to do? They're diamond. Anyway, that's another story for another day. I'm gonna get back on topic. I promise. I'm doing the Yoda trick. I'm doing the Yoda trick. I'm
Tourism.
trying to bring it. I'm trying to bring it in. I'm trying to bring it in.
That brings me to another title, but I'll talk to remind me to talk to you about the chain. Just remember the chain, because I'll lose train of thought and forget what I wanted to tell you. Something I seen on fucking TikTok the other day. But anyway, so I'm gonna read a little bit about Jediism. Give me 1 second here. Excuse me, y'all, for my technical difficulties. Internet moving a little bit slow. And the options on here are a little bit different too. Share screen.
At least you know how to work the thing. I'm still working on just mute and unmute. That's about the only button I got now.
So again, it's because you don't have the certain access. I can tell them to give it to you, so you can sit there and go in it. But give me 1 second here. Let's read a little bit about Jediism. This is my favorite source, Chat GPT. I'm not going to say is 100% accurate because it can be confused, but that's a different story. Jediism is a modern spiritual or religious movement inspired by the philosophy, values, and symbolism of the Jedi from the Star Wars universe. While it draws heavily from the fictional Jedi Order, Jediism is practiced by real people who see the Jedi Code and way of life as a meaningful guide for personal development, ethics, and spirituality. The key aspects, philosophy and beliefs. The Force. Central to Jediism is the belief in the Force, which is understood not as a supernatural power, but as a metaphor for the universal energy that connects all living things, similar to concepts like Chi, Prana, and Tao. The Jedi Code. Many followers adopt versions of the Jedi Code from Star Wars as a guiding principles, emphasizing peace, knowledge, serenity, and harmony over emotion, ignorance, and chaos. Examples: there is no emotion, there is peace. There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no passion, there is serenity. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There is no death, there is force. Now I'm gonna stop right there for a second. And the reason why I'm gonna stop right there is because before I got to that last part, I really was feeling it, right? I really was feeling it, and I really liked it. But I got to a part I didn't really care for it, and the reason why I don't care for it is because it's unrealistic, right?
But if you want to relate it to the unrealistic parts of that other thing that we said we wasn't going to mention today, we said we was going to keep them at our mouths.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a scene in the movie that not everybody likes. They like to glance over it, and it's how Darth Vader went to the dark side. He took out the kids. He went after the baby Jedi's. He did that. He did that. I'm just saying they worked that into their newfound religion. They made sure that there was a part where somebody had to decide to kill the children, and they did it. I just thought I'd work that in there.
I definitely agree with your point and the similarities. As I was reading, I was definitely seeing the similarities um, from other worldly religions. And the part that I don't like, that's why, is because it literally is a similarity, not the part that you pointed out, but still the same principle. So to go back to it, the part is like when there's no emotion, there's no peace. Okay, I'll give you that partially. Then you're like, there's well, not you. Then the philosophy is like, there's no ignorance, there is knowledge. I'll give you that. Then there's no passion, there's serenity, maybe. There's no chaos, there's harmony. Flat out lie. That's a flat out lie. Then the next one is even worse. Worse. There's no death. There's force. Now, if we want to take that to certain people's talking points, like, oh, well, you know, there's just energy and it just transfers. Okay, but you cannot say with a bold face that there's no death. There is death. It will end. So I don't like when people are unrealistic, and that was my only point.
You know, I've been over here chuckling because you've been dead on. And no excuse, no nothing. Just more of the same old, same old. More of the same old, same old.
I respect I respect the originality until you get to that point, though.
I
I
don't know if
definitely.
I would call it original because I do believe Spock came first.
Oh, okay. You talk about Star Trek.
Yep.
I've always thought Star Trek was better than Star Wars. I don't think it's been pushed as much. I don't think it's been as promoted and things like that. But I always thought Star Trek was better. I liked it, the fact that at one point throughout my childhood that the show actually came on TV. Maybe it was because it always came on around the time when my ass was supposed to be in the bed, and I was sneaking watching it or watching TV when I wasn't supposed to. Uh, but I've always liked it. Like, what's the one dude from Read? Oh, that's another reason. My guy from Reading Rainbow was on that motherfucker with the
Uh-huh.
banana clip
Uh-huh.
over his. My dude, Doctor Spock. That was my dude. He was one of very few words, but he stood on fucking business. You fuck with him, he fucking you up. Uh, what else? Captain Kirk. He was a pimp, so I liked him. The old school one with that black lady, she was fine as a motherfucker, so I liked her ass too. Uh, it was the shit. It was the shit. I ain't gonna
I
lie. It
always
was the
liked her
shit.
afro and her nails as she was hitting her little comb. I just the way she hit her comb.
And she was about business too. She didn't fuck around. She'd whoop your ass. You fuck with her. All that. So I'm like, okay, this is my show. This is my show. But like with Star
Nobody ever
Wars,
stared at her cleavage. Nobody ever slapped her on her ass. You know what I mean? It was like it. I wanted to be her when I grew up. Communications is the key.
yeah, she definitely was a real one. She had swag. She looked good. She, yeah, to me it was a better product. But and the reason why, part of the reason why, is because with Star Wars, you had to wait so fucking long. Like, say, for instance, if you was a fan, you had to wait 15, 25, 10, 11, 12, 13 years for a new product to come out. Shit, Star Trek every Saturday I'm watching that shit.
Every Saturday, new product. You know how many ideas was sparked watching Star Trek or what else was those reruns that would be on all the time? One of them was by Hancock. It was started by Hancock, but then somebody else took over and it really went to the dark side and I loved it. And then they came out with HBO and The Hitchhiker and I was like, "Yes. Yes, give me all your fears. Come on, give them to me."
I like the Hitchhiker, but that was more of a. It was similar to a situation that I just spoke about, but a little bit different. I like the Hitchhiker because again, Hitchhiker was a show that more than likely I couldn't see. We ain't have cable, so if I went over to my house, oh Hitchhiker, oh videos, you know what I'm saying? So that was cool. I liked it. What's the other one? Did you say Albert Hitchcock already?
Yep, yep, yep.
I liked it. That Murder She Wrote. Murder She Wrote was another show that came on 9 when my ass was supposed to be in bed. Moonlighting was another show I was supposed to be in bed. Mr.
Oh,
Ed was another
Moonlighting
show.
was a good one. I hated the ending though. I ain't gonna lie from the perpetrate. I hated that ending. Oh my goodness. Whoever wrote that needed to be slapped.
I liked it because what's her name? Was that Brooke Shields? No, not Brooke Shields. What's her name? What's her?
I yeah,
She had the
I know who
bright
you
blue eyes.
mean.
Was on there. Kirstie Alley. I liked it because she was on there. Well, I liked it because she was on there. And again, I was supposed to be in bed. One show that I didn't care for that came on that time slot because I didn't understand it. I didn't like Cheers.
Oh, I love the Lilith from Cheers. I wanted to be Lilith so bad. Oh my gosh. And then I met a Lilith in real life. Like real life. Like the hairdo, um, the same speech pattern and word pattern, except with a foreign accent. More specifically, an Egyptian raised foreign accent. Oh my goodness. I was in love. I was in love. I just wanted to hear him talk. You know how you just make excuses to hear somebody talk, like you will ask them asinine questions just to hear them talk? That's what I did with this particular person. Oh my God, reminded me of Lilith so much.
When I watched it as an adult or like an older teenager, then it became funny because again, I didn't understand what they was talking. I mean, I knew what they were saying grammatically, what they were saying, but it wasn't funny to me. This was 40-year-old humor, 40-year-old white people humor to a 5-year-old black child. It's not funny to me, but now it is because I get that the motherfuckers were sitting there drinking and talk about their fucking life problems and and their relationships and all
Well,
that shit. But
I got to hear it all summer at the pool. We had a we had a very large Olympic sized pool with a diving practice area, whole 11 feet, so you could do all the fancy dives and everything. And for a fee every summer, it was like your babysitting camp, and that's where we would sit. And there was a point to this, I promise. Oh, so every summer I got to hear exactly what was um, televised and scripted in Cheers in real life. In real life, all you had to do was just pretend to have your headphones, or pretend to be covered up by the towel or whatever. Pretend like you're sleeping, and people will say the most crazy, asinine things around you. It's just crazy.
all right, let me finish reading the rest of it. So, ethics and practice, mindfulness and self discipline. Jediism emphasizes meditation, self awareness, and ethical conduct, compassion, and service. Like their fictional counterparts, Jedists often stress helping others and acting with compassion and justice. Non-dogmatic Jediism, non-dogmatic Jediism generally lacks formal doctrines and central authorities. It encourages individual interpretation and self-discovery. There are several groups that identify with Jediism, including the Temple of the Jedi Order, one of the largest and most organized Jediism groups. It is a registered religious organization in the United States. The Jedi Church, founded in New Zealand, it emphasizes beliefs in the Force and unity among Jedi believers, recognition and legitimacy. While some view Jediism as a satire or parody, most adherents treat it as a sincere belief system. In several countries, people have listed Jedi as a religion on censuses, most famously in 2001 UK census, where over 390,000 people did so. Governments generally do not recognize Jediism as an official religion, but it has sparked debate on the nature of religion in modern society. Okay. I just think that the last part of that was more of just like Christians just, picking at it and making sure that it does not become a nationally recognized religion because they probably look at it as like I said, satire, parody. Uh, that's hypocritical when you believe in unicorns, talking snakes, talking donkeys. Again, like I said in the beginning, now that I'm looking at it through open lens, as an unbiased lens, all of them are equally as ridiculous. To me, Jediism does have a little bit of legitimacy to it, for the simple fact that I can actually see it with my eyes. instead of making up some bullshit in my mind as to what any person in the Bible looked like, because we don't know what these people look like. I do. I have been became aware of the fact that there are about three people that actually existed out of the thousands of people in the Bible. I don't know what they look like. Nobody knows what they look like, and we're just adding to it. At least I know the main character. He is white. I can positively say that, and all the other characters. So
Oh, Static Shock. That needs to be the next religion. But anyway, I'm digressing. But when it comes to Jediism, there's there was a second point that you just said, and I had it in my head, but I wanted to let you finish speaking, and I lost it just that fast. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I hate it when I do that, but you have to tolerate it because oh, that's what it was. So, what if it's not another religion that doesn't want it recognized? What if it's the HR department that doesn't want it recognized? Because the HR department works for the corporation that does not wish to pay you nor allow you your rights when it comes to religion written into the bylaws of being an employee. What if it's them that doesn't want it recognized as a religion? Because then they would have to allow you your sabbaticals and time off and religious observance for it.
it could be. It definitely could be. I was thinking when you were saying that, like maybe insurance companies could have a big influence on that.
Ooh, we know insurance companies don't like to pay out. Now they like to collect their fees. They're gonna take them right out your check if they got to. They're gonna get their fees, but it's real hard to get them to cut you a check back. I don't know why everybody keeps saying that's the way to go. Because I've read the cases of insurance companies against governments, and they real sore losers. Them insurance companies, they sore losers.
Traditionally, that's why slavery was abolished in the UK, literally, because what they were doing was the slave herders were throwing slaves off of the boat and making insurance claims. And the insurance companies got tired of paying, and they pressured the UK government, which was probably called Britain at that time, to abolish slavery because they couldn't keep paying for this shit. People don't realize that it's a pretty, I mean, I'm not going to say a quick mission, but I would assume that it would be a faster mission to get probably from, Nigeria, Senegal, that area to England. So I'm pretty sure they was making that back real fast. So they just was throwing them off, things like that. It also had a big role here. Maybe not that same exact role, but insurance companies definitely played a role here as well. So to your point, you are 100% correct. Um, it could be HR, and as I said, it could be the insurance. We know it's the government, however you look at it, whoever has the billions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just like the insurance companies are helping them uh, fix your paperwork. But it's amazing how it's your job to go to their offices to pay them to correct your paperwork. That's what I'm not understanding. That's the part that's not getting me. I have to pay an administrative fee to fix what you wanted broken. It's not making sense to me. It's not. I'm not understanding.
I hate having to pay somebody to pay somebody. Like, a lot of these insurance companies and other bill collecting companies, right? You got to pay an outside entity to pay them. You mean to tell
Right.
me that you're a
When they
billionaire?
told me if me, the customer service representative, uh, does your payment process, you will be charged an additional $4.99. But if you hang up and use our automated system, it's free, but your bank will charge you $2.99. for the transaction fee for the third party system.
That makes no sense. You're richer than the fucking third party company. You mean to tell me that you can't accept payments? I know what you're doing. You're avoiding paying that 8 to 9% or whatever the fuck it is. But if you're trying to do that, why don't you just add it into your own fee? If that's how you really fucking feel, instead of paying another motherfucker, and then I gotta pay taxes on both of them. I ain't bad. Well, maybe not on the fee, but the rest of it. So it's a
Yeah, yeah.
scheme. It's all a scam. And the more
uh,
I start looking into things, everything's a scam.
Everything, every last part. I just got done seeing a rabbit hole that I don't know if I feel like going down this week, but if I do go down it and I find something interesting, it's gonna be funny as hell. But it said that the $600 limit on payments for the IRS to look into your Venmo, PayPal, and something else uh, is actually kicked out. They can't do it or something like that. I forget. But like I said, I ain't go down the rabbit hole. I was just thinking about it.
I mean, don't surprise me. Taxes itself is a scam. That's a scam.
Woo! Don't you tell them that. Don't you tell them law abiding citizens that love the Constitution and Martin Luther King and all of it. Don't you don't you disparage them sky daddy fearing good peoples that
Well,
are more concerned about what other people are doing in their free time in their own space with their own cameras on instead of focusing on Sky Daddy still ain't paying his gosh darn child support.
but I make sure, I tell them the whole story. I don't tell them like just portion of it, right? Because it's easy to tell a person, like paying taxes is not constitutional. Um, it's a scam. That's easy to say, right? You know, but that's just like I was talking about the DTH blocker the other day. All right, it's easy to tell a person, all right, if you use this product, it may regrow your hair, right? But you're not telling what else it may do. So with the taxes situation, I have to tell them what else is the consequence. Because if you stop paying them right now, you're fucked. And the reason why you're fucked is because that first summer job that your ass got 35, 45 years ago, however long it may have been. We all know my case, shit, it was almost 30 years ago. But whatever the case may be, when you signed your name on that first, was it the W-4 forms, the 1099, whatever the fuck it was, when you wrote your name on that thing and you checked that box because you agreed to the federal government to pay taxes the rest of your life. And you also agreed to, if you stop paying them, to go to prison, which is fucking crazy. But that's a different story. So, to your point, I make sure that I have to tell them what they done got themselves into because they don't teach you these things because it's a
Right.
slave system for everyone.
Right. And then I like to remind them that that's why the IRS had to get out of them $600 payments because the idea after that part is to make sure that you have no income that the IRS can find that takes you over the threshold required for you to just file zero on your income taxes.
Right. So I'm gonna play a video here, a
Did I
short
say
one.
that out loud? My bad. Yeah, play a video. I'll be right back.
Yep. Okay. Give me 1 second, folks. Yeah, Afro.
Material describes the Jedi as following a religion.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for
Like me, they're the last of the Jedi religion.
And the Jedi certainly are religious-ish. They're basically monks. They live a celibate life in the Jedi temple. They dress in brown Jedi robes. They Thanks, yeah, they have Teku. But the movement Jediism. Take the Temple of the Jedi Order, for example, an online community that claims to be a legally recognized Jedi church and ministry of Jediism. According to their website, Jediism is a religion based on the observance of the Force. Jedi, or Jedaists, live by 3 tenets of focus, knowledge, and wisdom, hold to the Jedi Code, a mantra that developed out of Star Wars novels and video games in the 90s. And unless these people are deeply committed to an ironic online persona, they appear their identity as Jedaists very seriously. On their forum, you'll find members helping each other with meditation techniques and debating the existence of force powers such as telekinesis. Most forum members regard force powers as scientifically baseless, but others seem more open to their existence. And this religion doesn't only exist online. Another group, the Church of Jediism, hosts meetups in real life at conventions and even offer Jedi weddings. People don't partly because it first hit headlines as a joke answer on the census in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. In the 2001 UK census, almost 1% of the population of Wales claimed that their religion was Jedi. The meme continued even 10 years later. In 2011, over 170,000 people claimed to be Jedi. No doubt many thousands of people wrote this down joke. Even for the serious Jediist, they've run up against government bureaucracies refusing to acknowledge their status as a religion. In 2016, the government rejected as a religious charity, saying it lacks the necessary spiritual or non-secular element of a religion, whatever that means. I'm arguing against the UK government. Jediism is definitely a religion, at least in the way it manifests on these internet forums. Religious communities that draw from pop culture like Jediism are simply engaging in the same sort of cultural production that humans have been doing for thousands of years, endlessly adapting and reworking culture as the raw materials for their religions, adapting beliefs, gods, myths, and rituals into new forms. What does make Jediism different, though, is that the raw materials come from copyrighted property. The rise of intellectual property law following the Industrial Revolution has definitely changed how religions develop, because cultural production has been locked up into the hands of authors, publishers, or corporations. The scholar of fandoms and media culture, Henry Jenkins, argues that these new structures of ownership diminished our ability to participate in the creation and interpretation of culture itself. Imagine if Zeus was a trademark character in ancient Greece. How many lawsuits would have been served against later Greek and Roman authors? Or if the Hebrew Bible was copyrighted, Jesus and the Gospel writers would have been collecting a bunch of cease and desist letters. Religious innovators have always drawn from available culture. That's so obvious it almost goes without saying. But while spiritual exemplars like the Buddha and Moses belong to the people, spiritual exemplars like Yoda and Obi-Wan belong to a corporation. Nevertheless, this has not stopped grassroots attempts to create new religious expressions from pop culture. In fact, it's a whole subcategory of religions that sociologists call hyper-real religions. Innovative religions and spiritualities that mix elements of religious tradition with popular culture. Hyperreal refers to the attempt to make experiences more intense and fantastic than daily life. Hyperreal experiences might include VR simulations or amusement parks, for example. I would also call Jediism a syncretism, or religious mixing. People draw religious inspiration from culture and graft those rituals, narratives, and symbols from these franchises into their own religious lives. In fact, a lot of the doctrine on some of these Jediist forums seem to be syncretized with forms of Christianity. But it's not just Star Wars. We see similar new religious movements syncretizing elements of Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and The Matrix too. In the early 2000s, communities started to form calling themselves Matrixists. And many pagans today have adopted elements from Harry Potter too. A group of women, for example, calling themselves Snape wives or Snapists, have built a religious identity around the character Snape as a guide to their lives. These fandoms are what Henry Jenkins calls participatory cultures. Cultures where fans are not just consumers of media, but producers of media. Star Wars culture doesn't flow only from Disney and Lucasfilm. People write fan fiction. They cut up the movies into super popular fan edits, and create fan films so popular that even major corporations get worried to send cease and desist orders, like what happened when CBS cracked down on the Star Trek fan film Axanar. The thing that's so powerful about participatory culture is that regular people can gain social capital and prestige even though they operate outside of the official power structure. Kathleen Kennedy wields a great deal of power as the president of Lucasfilm, but now, because of the internet, regular fans can climb the social ladder in the fandom, becoming famous fan designers like Fractal Sponge, or masters in an online Jedi church. Most of these hyper-real religions exist almost entirely online, which the UK Charity Commission noted against as being a real religious organization. But a cyber religion is no less of a religion. Religion adaptable, and religious communities have been adapting to the internet for decades. Sociologists of online religion have studied how churches form communities on Facebook groups or even in virtual reality prayer rooms. There's also a class of religious YouTubers who position themselves as modern-day prophets, using the medium of video blogging to make predictions about the future or to disseminate their interpretation of scripture to followers. Is just doing what more mainstream religions have been doing for over a decade now, meeting in digital spaces like subreddits, Facebooks, and YouTube channels as a way to live out their religious lives. Using Henry Jenkins's terminology, I'd call Jediism a grassroots cultural production. Even though it seems like a uniquely modern phenomenon, even though Jediism uses the raw materials of copyrighted intellectual property, Jedi churches are the result of the same strategies people have always relied to create new religions, and it's a good example of why we should include digital spaces in our study of religion in the 21st century. As always, thanks for watching.
And may the Force be with you.
Okay, I think he summed it up pretty good. I like his point of view, obviously. I like the fact that he was saying that he disagrees with the UK government. From my understanding, that the UK, for the most part, is a secular country overall. So I can, understand them not wanting to add to something that they're literally trying to subtract in a way. But if you're going to let some, I guess it would only be fair to let all. Right?
Sounds fair to me. Once you let one in, what's to stop the rest from coming in?
Right. He had said something that was a little bit contradictory to what I had read, because what I read that in '01 that there was 390,000 in the UK, but he may have been reading. Well, obviously he was reading from a different source, but he may have been speaking of inland UK instead of the overall. I don't know, but
I don't understand why they still confuse that. It's because are you supposed to call it the Euro Union or something now? I forget. I forget. They changed terms so many times for tax reasons, of course.
right. And then I don't get how far do you extend that? And what I mean by that is, are you talking about Canada too? Because I'm not sure.
Remind them, remind them, like Canada is the EU. Like, why do you not understand that? Because they're connected here. I don't understand.
Right. Because they clearly are part of the union. If you look at their money has the queen on that shit. Right? I know this because when years ago, when I used to sell long distance telephone service, this was a long fucking time ago. It cost the same amount to call to Toronto, even if you were in Detroit, as it would to call London. And I didn't understand why. And they told me, they said, because literally Canada is a part of the UK. And it's an easy, like most people that are in the UK, they can, well, any of them can. If you are a citizen in the UK, you can go to Canada whenever the fuck you want to.
Yep. As long as you can afford the passage.
That's it. They can't stop you. But yeah, I liked some of his talking points, definitely, of what he was saying about Jediism.
Actually, I'm actually gonna follow that one because I did like him. I was paying attention. I was finally paying attention.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch him again. I will watch this again so I can catch on to who he was, because I may do the same thing. I'm gonna read some from Wikipedia because I know Wikipedia is gonna pause, give us a mouthful. Give me a second. So I'll just skip to. Let me see how long it is. Well, it's not actually long. Some of this I may have already stated, but Jediism is an online community and philosophy, or controversially a religion, based on the belief system of the fictional Jedi characters in Star Wars media. Jediism attracted public attention in '01 when a number of people recorded their religion as Jedi on the national censuses. Encouraged by an email campaign, Jediism is inspired by certain elements of Star Wars, namely the fictional religion of the Jedi, Early websites dedicated to bringing up a belief system from the Star Wars films were the Jedi religion and regulations in Jediism. These websites cited the Jedi Code, consisting of 21 maxims, as a starting point for a real Jedi belief system. The real world Jediism movement has no leader or central structure. Jediism, while initially regarded as a tongue in cheek joke religion when it emerged in '01 email campaign, gained legitimate supporters who now claim it as an actual religion and not merely a Star Wars fan club or spoof. Their beliefs include, although followers of Jediism acknowledge the influence of Star Wars on their religion by following the moral and spiritual codes demonstrated by the fictional Jedi, they also insist their path is different from that of the fictional characters and that Jediism does not focus on the myth and fiction found in Star Wars. While there is some variations in teachings, the Jedi of the Temple of the Jedi Order follow the 16 teachings based on the presentation of the fictional Jedi, such as Jedi are mindful of the negative emotions which led to the to the dark side, and the Jedi are guardians of peace and justice. Of peace and justice. Adherents also follow 21 maxims. The census phenomenon. Jediism received press coverage following a worldwide email campaign in '01, urging people to write Jedi as their answer to the regional classification question in their country census, resulting in the Jedi census phenomenon. The majority of such respondents are assured to have claimed their faith as a joke. Legal recognition in the United States in '05, the Temple of the Jedi Order was registered in Texas. It was granted IRS tax exemption in 2015. In May '05, an article on the growth of Jedi religion by Catholic author John M. Sweeney was the most read article on the website explorefaith.org that year. In the UK, during the drafting of the UK Racial and Religious Hatred Act, an amendment was proposed that excluded Jedi Knights from any protection, along with Satanists and believers in animal sacrifice. The amendment was subsequently withdrawn, the proposer explaining that it was a bit of a joke to illustrate a point defining religious belief in legislation is difficult. In 2007, a 23-year-old Daniel Jones founded the Church of Jediism with his brother Barney, believing that the 2001 UK census recognized Jediism as a religion and that there were more Jedi than Scientologists in Britain. In 2009, Jones was removed from a Tesco supermarket in Bangor, North Wales, for refusing to remove his hood on a religious basis. The owner justified Jones' ejection by saying he hasn't been banned. Jedis are very welcome to shop at our stores, although we would ask them to remove their hoods. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, and Luke Skywalker all appear hoodless without ever going over to the dark side, and we are only aware of the Emperor as one who never removed his hood. In 2013, the Free Church of Scotland expressed concern that a proposed marriage and civil partnership bill would lead to Star Wars Jedi marrying couples. Patrick Day Childs of the Church of Jediism and Reverend Michael Kitchen of Temple of the Jedi Order both defend the right of Jedi to perform marriage ceremonies. In December 2016, the Charity Commission for England and Wales rejected an application to grant charitable organization status to the Temple of the Jedi Order, ruling that the group did not promote moral or ethical improvement for charity law purposes. In Turkey, in April 2015, the students of the Kuz Ilu University in Turkey started a petition on change.org demanding a Jedi temple be built on the campus. The petition was in response to a previous petition which had demanded a mosque in the campus of Istanbul Technical University. The petition demanding the mosque reached 180,000 signatures, falling short of its 200,000 target, and invoked a response from Mehmet Kakara, the rector of ITU, promising a landmark mosque. Soon after, students from other universities started petitions demanding Jedi and Buddhist temples on their campus. Okay, that was a lot, a whole lot. How you feeling, Jay?
Sorry, I was typing in the comments because I was making sure I could remember some stuff. I'm just gonna say this. That was a bunch of interesting stuff. So let me see if I understand this. All the way over in Turkey, they want to build temples and mosques for the Jedi mind games. Let me understand that. But in the last 10 years, I remember specifically that they are now showing pictures of the ruins of temples where supposedly these things once were, but because of a bombing that happened in, I don't know, 2008 or something like that, that you can't see it anymore. You can't visit it. It can't be studied because it was bombed. That doesn't make any sense to me. That sorry, why are you still trying to build temples and crap? And we all know how this ends, how it works. You just gonna bulldoze over it and build
I
something
don't know.
else in 20 years.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel indifferent about that. Like what I just read and what you're saying. Because on one hand, I mean, it's not necessary to build all these temples and all that shit. Fact, right? That's a fact. They are basing this off of something that we know is not true. But where does this start and where does this finish? Right? It's not fair. And then as I was reading, I'm just reading it. All I hear in my mind is inconsistent, 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 bias, 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 bias. Because not only are you biased against them, right? You're biased against Satanists too, right? So that means that even though that I will say that the UK is a secular country, right? They still have some sort of core beliefs. It's still a colonial belief system that is attached, and that is showing it, right? And then they later on denied it because it said that, oh well, it leads to nothing moral, blah 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 blah, and all this other shit. Well, you didn't say that when it was coming to the Satanist situation, because I will make the positive claim that the Satanist moral code is significantly better than any Abraham religions. Period.
Point blank.
So I don't get that. Well, I do get it. I get it.
And
It's just not.
and Satan, for the last and final time, is nothing more than a job description, like a vice president. Same thing. It's a job description.
He just don't believe. That's it. He's just an opposer. He don't believe. He just saying that's bullshit. That's all he's saying. And if
Right.
you think about it, that's all he
And
ever
then
said.
and then that Sky Daddy person one day said, "What do you mean it's bullshit? How dare you call me out? You see that guy named Joe? Keep an eye on him. Watch what's about to happen." Satan ain't asked nothing. Satan didn't bring Job up. Nothing. Nothing. Just kept asking what if.
That's
Now
what
they
I'm
make
saying.
TV shows and cartoons called What If.
He was just a critical fucking thinker. That's all. He was no different than the kid that don't believe shit. Right here. I don't believe what you say until you can show me. No matter what the circumstance, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. If you tell me it's raining outside, I'm looking out the fucking window. I don't care. You have to prove it to me because people lie. Some people just lie just to lie. Um, and it's crazy that I've been seeing Smackwater lately, right? And he be saying like shit that happens to me and what I be thinking, but obviously I'm not as big as him and I'm not as aggressive as him. So a lot of times, you gotta pick your battles in this life. I can't go off on every single person like that. I might fuck around and get my ass whipped. But this one day, I probably could have went as hard as he be going on this one dude. This dude just walked up to me, right? I'm at my job and he's a temp, right? And he was like, we just came back from break. And he just chased me down, white guy. Like, hey, bro. I mean, he's a homeless guy and everything. I could tell that he's fresh out of prison too. He's like, oh, but on some dope fiend shit, not one of them big ones. Like one of the ones that you can tell is getting high and all that shit, right? So he's like, oh, bro. I'm like, what's up? He's like, God told me to tell you something. Okay, so whatever it is that you need to tell me, I think you need to take that advice because clearly you in a fucked up situation and you still giving him praise for you being a fucking dope fiend in 2025. You can't tell me shit that he said, right? Because I'm gonna go tell you to go back and tell him that you fucked up. You got this man working for you and you ain't even paying him. You fucked up. And he got to listen to me because I'm his boss at his job. how the fuck do this work? Right? And the conversation just turned out to the whole argument. All because I didn't want to listen to what the fuck he was trying to tell me about God telling him some shit. I made it known that I didn't give a fuck, and I could have whooped his ass, but it wasn't worth it. Right? But now that I'm sitting here thinking about it and shit, like what that is just a way of trying to manipulate your mind. Like, even if God did tell me some shit, who gives a fuck? Why are you coming up to me and telling me this shit? Because there's an ulterior motive at the end. Hey, bro, you got to smoke? Bitch, I don't smoke. Hey, bro, I don't got no ride home. Can you give me a ride home? Oh, and I'm going to think that I need to help his ass because God told his bitch ass to tell me something. Fuck you and him, bruh. And I'm saying that because we had a whole 30 or 40 fucking minute argument about this shit afterwards, to the point where the boss had to say, either y'all working or you going home. I got my ass
Oh,
back
don't
to
give me
fucking
that option. I'm out. I'm still on the schedule for tomorrow, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing about it was, in a lot of times I would do that with the same exact job on top of. A lot of times I would do that, but then I had to start thinking about who's really winning. Who's winning? I used to be walking out that bitch like, she got me fucked. Who the fuck do you think I'm
Me
Reginald
every
Gilchrist? Bitch, who
time,
the fuck
because
do you think I'm talking
whatever else I went
to?
to go do made more money than I was making at them hours at that job. Whatever
That's
I went,
true. That's
whatever
true.
trouble I went looking for.
But at that time, that wasn't the situation. You know, sometimes life is like a roller coaster. I was at work because I didn't have the motion like that. I was working because I wasn't getting it out here like that at that time. You feel me? You know, I didn't have the re-up money. I didn't fucked it up. So now, when I go back home and I think I didn't want this dispute, I didn't told her. I didn't told this bitch. And I'm sitting there like, man, these niggas, my fingernails, they look juicy than a motherfucker. Even though I want some food. These nails looking good because now I ain't got it. So I had to realize that I didn't really, you know, win those situations. The one with him, I definitely did because he can, you know, take Sky Daddy and twirl it in his ass if that's what he wants to do. But, you know, I had to grow out of that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because it was putting me in a little bit of a financial situation.
One time, I tried the exact scenario you just gave, where I thought better and did not do what was in my imagination to do. One time, and that was the one time, or should I say, that was the first time I got fired for what somebody else was saying about my work in the office, because I never contradicted them. I kept saying it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Don't fight it. Just let them keep saying whatever it is they saying. And
Mm-hmm.
I ended up fired because I never went for the. This bitch is lying. She getting on my nerves. And if you don't do something with her, we're gonna have a lawsuit. I got a lawyer. Here's their name and number. From now on, when she has a complaint about my performance, you need to call them.
I feel you. A lot of times when you don't nip shit in the bud when you know you're supposed to, things get out of hand. Listen, that's my whole life story. But at the same time, oh, Reggie always starting shit. Reggie always going off.
No,
Okay.
I finished
So,
it. Don't get my interest, because I'm gonna finish it.
mhm, mhm. Because what really is gonna happen, and it's gonna make the situation worse. Once you piss me off and I don't do nothing and I don't say nothing about it, everything you do after that is gonna keep pissing me the fuck off, right? And then eventually you're gonna do something like, and I'm gonna go fucking crazy. Like, why the fuck did you drop that lighter, bitch? What's wrong with you? You just picked that lighter up and it just fell out your hand. What's wrong with your face? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna get to that situation. So a
Right,
lot of
right,
times,
right.
you're right.
You know,
It's best to
that's
just tell
why
a
I'm
person
not.
like,
That's why I always need my own space, because if I can't find a space to be by myself, eventually your breathing, just your existence, is just gonna piss me off. I'm just gonna wake up mad that you exist. You ain't did nothing. You ain't said shit. You've been doing everything that you usually do, but today I don't like you. You smell funny. You look funny. You. Everything is just something wrong. Just go away.
well, this brings me to another situation, another topic. Men's mental health, right? that's it's the same situation, right? We're thought and we're taught to suppress our thoughts. Oh, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. You look like a hoe. That's some shit girls gonna do. Like, why you doing that, bro? Like, why you sad? Oh, she cheated on you. Why you mad? Ha 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 ha. Then later on, that shit just build up, just build up,
You,
just
you
build up.
better be mad. If you find out
Mhm.
somebody has made a verbal or written contract with you to be exclusive, and then you find out no matter how the information came, whether you look for it or not, but it is now known, and you ain't got something to say right then and there, all respect is gone. I don't care how you patch it up, the respect ain't there.
That's
Period.
true.
Point blank.
What I'm saying is, like, we're taught not to say things about a lot of things,
Who would
and it
teach you
builds.
that? Who taught? Who is these? Who is this entity that is teaching this lesson plan?
That's true. Just like, okay, so you see, like, when certain people debate with certain people, and you say certain things, oh, it's your emotions. Nigga, I ain't got no emotions for your ass. This ain't no emotion. This ain't emotion. You think just because I'm talking
But
loud, I'm showing you my
but,
emotion?
but we understand and recognize that they're saying it just to get the response of this ain't no emotion, and be like,
That's
okay,
true.
thank you for providing the label that you have given. Now on to what I actually said. Could you respond to that?
That's true. But I'm just using that as one small example. Like, a lot of times we're looked to not say nothing or to just take it internally. Like, okay, so for example, if there's a dispute between a male and a female, and we're just say we're in a relationship or not, doesn't matter, right? But the relationship thing, it makes it even more valid about what I'm going to say, right? So it could be a dispute between a male and a female, right? And if you're just speaking what you think and telling them what you think and why you're right and they're wrong, it could be looked at as, oh, you're a bitch. You're arguing like a bitch. You're sassy. You're this. Because what they're trying, to your point, what they're trying to do is trying to manipulate you to shut the fuck up. No different than, okay, if it's a woman, right? And I'm trying to mentally control her behavior, you're a hoe. I'm making you feel guilty for shit that you do that I don't want you to do. It's no different than her saying I'm sassy or a bitch because you want me to shut the fuck up. No, no. And as time builds on, right? As time builds on, that pressure keeps building up. I've been biting my tongue. I've been dealing with this. Okay, I'm a man. I ain't supposed to show you my emotions. I'm about to sit there and take this eternally. Then you didn't drop that motherfucking lighter. You didn't drop that fucking lighter. And you knew you shouldn't drop that goddamn lighter. Now, it's not even about the lighter. It's about all that other shit that I ain't said nothing about. Because culturally, I don't want to look like a little bitch. You see what I'm saying?
And on that note, uh, I think this is where the cousins came in when I was a kid. Cause sometimes they dropped the lighter. They did. I reacted. I did. Didn't change nothing. They still here. I'm still here. All worked out. Whether we speak, don't speak. I figured out how that works best for me. But I did that as a child. So right now at this age, I don't care if I'm on the internet in written form, verbal form, podcast form. If I'm gonna say it, I'ma say it. I'ma stand 10 toes down on it until I figure out for myself, nope, I was wrong. I was wrong on that one. I was wrong on that one. My bad, my bad, my bad. I ain't sorry I said it.
Everyone makes mistakes, and I mean, it happens, That is, to me, I think, is you're more of a real person if you admit when you're wrong than anything. Because no, I mean, let's face it. Who wants to say when they're wrong? Who wants to admit that? Especially if you stood 10 toes down on that shit. You know, who wants to go back like, you know what, man, that was some bullshit. Nobody wants to do it. So, I mean, it happens. I'd rather a person be honest and just say, hey, fuck that, I was tripping. But, you know, I think that both sexes have a lot of pride. I don't know which one has more. That's debatable. That's debatable like a motherfucker. Because I've dated someone that'll tell you right now, I ain't never apologized to no man, and I never will. I just sit here, you want this pussy or not? It was what I heard him say. I'm like, really? Oh, wait, can I say that back to you? Really?
I've heard it said back.
Me.
I've heard it said back. And
a man told you that before.
And
a man told you that before.
Yes, and I answered. I'm like, you know what? You got a good point. You have an excellent point.
Yeah, I ain't never said that to nobody. I'm gonna try to see if that shit work. I don't think it's gonna work. I'm damn sure gonna try it.
It might be the delivery. It might be the delivery, but yeah, I've had that actually said to me. I've been in that scenario on more than one occasion with more than one individual, and guess what? I usually respond, my bad. Let me shut up. You, my bad. Let me shut up. I ain't sorry. I ain't taking back nothing I said, but my bad. I'm gonna shut up.
No. I ain't saying in that sense. I get what you're saying. I'm not saying that you admitting that you was wrong, right? Because if you're wrong, you're wrong.
No, I'm admitting that you have something that I am not going to make a big deal out of, whatever it is we are discussing, because I still want what it is you have to offer. That's what I meant.
So they just was like, look, all right, yeah, I did that shit. You want some dick? And he was like, all right, yeah, that was some bullshit. All right.
For those individuals, no lie, no front, no, yeah.
I never said that. I mean, I said it like, all right, well, I'm sorry then, but I ain't just like, all right, yeah, you ain't gonna do shit. And I ain't said like that. I wasn't like gangster with it. Like,
you ain't gonna do. Okay, well, if I ain't gonna do it, stop worrying about it. Oh, you still want to have the discussion? Okay, so you do want to do it. No, I ain't saying that. I'm getting confused. Which way you trying to go?
I get what you're saying. So overall, I think about Jediism. I think that,
and see how that just tied back into Jediism? Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
When the Jedis come and they have that conversation and they get you to twist your thought pattern into what they want you to do, I tied it all back together. Still Jediism.
I see your point. But I feel that Jediism, and I'm speaking from the outside looking in, I feel that it should be a nationally recognized, well, not nationally, global recognized religion as anything else is. If any other thing else that we have out there should be recognized, that should be too. Is it true? Is it realistic? Absolutely. Is it far-fetched? Absolutely. Does it have some core values that I would have to agree with? Yes. I would definitely have to agree with some of them.
And I think their marketing needs to go ahead and present to the insurance companies and HR exactly the breakdown that we're going to need for all the things that apply to the new religion, like time off, length of sabbaticals. Will it interfere with a 40-hour work week? Make your demands. You hold all the cards.
It's only fair. It's only fair. It's only fair. I don't see a need for it, but again, I am biased in this situation. So, I do think that it's probably is a scam, like I said, everything else, to get tax exemption. I don't blame them. I wish that people that call themselves pretendians, well, not, they don't call themselves pretendians. I wish people
Keep
that
this
I
going.
call
I'll be right back. Keep it going.
okay. I wish people that were pretendians out here would take that same ideology, because what are you doing it for? You're doing it just not to say you're not black or you're not African. You need to go about it a different way, because the white people that are pretending is here, they're getting motherfucking money, and they're getting tax exemption, and they're getting land, and they're getting casinos, they getting all kind of shit. Y'all just doing it just to prove a point, right? Talking about your light skin, right? Talking about you got the little curly hair, the little Indian hair right here and shit, right? That don't mean shit, right? So I just wish that people would do things for a reason. If you're gonna do something, do it for a reason. Don't just do it just to do it, right? Have some backing to it. Get some money from it. Get something from it, right? Don't be just out here just wasting your time. To NJ's point, one thing that is going to be difficult with getting this nationally recognized, well, let me stop saying nationally, globally recognized, is you're going to have to pay. That's copyright infringement, like a motherfucker. You're going to have to pay. The person who's in head of that, what they said her name earlier, right? The Lucas, whatever. You salute that, you're saluting her. You're going to have to pay her. And that's going to be a major difficulty with that being recognized.
So, in other words, this is also going to be a religion that's going to require 10% so that they can pay the corporation god from which it came.
More than that. More than that. 10%. That's being very generous. Because I'm not talking about from the religious aspect. I'm talking about copyright aspect that are. Right?
Speaking of copyrights, oh my goodness, the rabbit hole of copyright that I went down today was amazing. And I'm going to save that for later. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. But thanks for reminding me.
If you want to stream about it during about copyrights, we can during the week. But that was one of my concerns with today's stream, right? Because I'm like, all right, well, these Star Wars motherfuckers don't fuck around. So I had came up with one, but I didn't want no implication on them because they'll block this shit. They'll block this shit. So if that can happen, what you think gonna happen if you just keep on saying salute or whatever the fuck whatever their thing is, whatever. What you think will happen once you start doing that? You're gonna have to pay.
Yep. And that was the only reason. That was the only reason there was an outrage about a certain picture, because they didn't get their cut. They didn't. They wanted to get paid for that imagery to be about.
Mm-hmm. So what you got going on the rest of the day, Andrew?
Amazingly, the hammock. I am looking out the window and the weather is gorgeous for sitting in the hammock today. So I had a brand new fresh pack of, I believe we're supposed to say ports when I'm digital, and sit in the hammock, chilling with that and my phone and my thought process of how I'm going to handle my Monday through Thursday. And other than that, I don't give a flying fart.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'll probably just cook, go with my neighbors, relax, and think about what I'm going to do the rest of the week and get on TikTok. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thank you, Afro. Thank you, NJ, as always. I'll definitely be back next week. I don't know the topic. I'm going to tell you about the chain thing when we get off. I'll probably be back Thursday with AAA Sports. If not, catch me on Product of the 80s podcast or here on Sunday. Everybody have a great weekend, and thanks again. Good night.
Nice.